Hey y'all, it's been a little while since we've snuggled up together in my boudoir. So what do you say, let's get comfy? You ready? Okay, get settled in. All right. Now, what I'd like to talk about tonight is this whole idea of media literacy. This whole concept of media literacy, which, as I understand it, as I gather, is a bunch of people, a bunch of guys who make YouTube videos or write articles for, I don't know, I don't even know who it would be, BuzzFeed or Slate in years past, or Vice in years past. But I don't know what where they would write today, where they would publish their silly, useless articles today. But in any case, the media literacy guys, the media literacy people are the ones who are on their soapbox about how you're getting movies wrong. You're wrong. You misinterpreted a movie, or sometimes a book, or a television series. Because you took this movie. You took the main character of this movie in a particular way, and responded to him in a way that it was not proper for you to take that uh, interpretation of him. It was not proper for you to just to use the best, the most available example. It was not proper for you to watch Joker, the first Joker. We're not talking about. We're pretending Joker 2 never happened. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, there was no Joker 2. Only the first Joker, 2019. Best movie of that year. So, what the media literacy types would say about Joker is, oh, all you stupid people, all you stupid movie viewers, you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong because you watched that movie about this loser Arthur Fleck, who was a loser, um, and then he becomes a murderer, and you interpreted you interpreted the movie as showing that Arthur Fleck was a hero. So you're just silly and wrong and bad, uh, and we smirk at you. Um, I know I'm sounding a little glib here, but I'm pretty sure this is what the media literacy people do. That's pretty much what the kind of things that they say. Um, and they do this with other characters who get memed, who are sympathized with. Who people there's this whole literally me phenomenon. Like, that character is literally me, which is funny in and of itself because actually you don't mean literally me, you mean figuratively me. So that's which is part of the joke. The inside jokes just sort of stack up on each other, is something I've noticed uh, about the internet, about internet meme uh, culture. Um, so so the while there's a popular reaction to a movie where a character who is an anti-hero, or I don't know, somebody who's portrayed as a misfit, somebody who's portrayed as uh, a man who's struggling in his life, somebody who's shown to have a lot of things a lot of demons that he's battling, or what have you. This particular kind of movie comes under fire from these people who talk about media literacy, and they say, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Uh, you've totally misunderstood the movie. If you were watching it properly, you would come to the conclusion that the character that you seem to love is actually a character you're supposed to hate, and so forth and so on. And the movie is showing you what a loser he is, and so forth and so on. Now, this really isn't new. This if you've been around long enough, you know you I mean, I look, these kinds of characters turning up in movies and in books, this is these sorts of anti-heroes, these sorts of characters who it's all about, they begin as troubled people, and then they go through a certain journey, and by the time the movie's over, they've gone from one point to another, but they might have gone over the edge. They might have just lost their minds, or they might have been uh, friendless and on the margins of society, and you know and trying to make friends, trying to belong, but not being able to belong. Characters like Travis Bickle, characters like the unnamed narrator of Dostoevsky's the Notes from Underground. Um, Characters like oh gosh, who else? Who else? Even a character like Patrick Bateman, or somebody else in the Bret Easton Ellis cinematic universe. I say cinematic universe kind of dryly, because most of them aren't. Well, the only cinematic, the only truly cinematic movie that's been made of Ellis's work, I think, is American Psycho. But anyway, in all these movies, you have these characters who are uh, either uh, antisocial, or possibly sociopathic. Like, if you're wanting to talk about somebody like Patrick Bateman, uh, or just uh, you know people like Travis Bickle or Arthur Fleck, who are more just struggling uh, nobodies, for lack of a better word. Um, this is the type of character I've been drawn to for much of my adult life, and most of the characters that I write about. I shouldn't say most, but a great many of the characters that I write about are also fit within this framework. I find characters like this very interesting, and and I think that one of the things that's interesting about them is that you can uh, you speaking as a writer anyway, uh, you have some room to maneuver with this character. You can make this character relatable insofar as you can take certain qualities about yourself. Let's say some of the less um, uh, impressive qualities about yourself. Some of the qualities about yourself that maybe you would like not to be real. Maybe the part of yourself that has a hard time talking to others. Maybe the part of yourself that is that often commits social faux pas, the part of yourself who's who often feels left out, the part of yourself who's um, I don't know, friendless, or or, or can't find a connection with others. Part of yourself who makes you cringe, right? We've got this word cringe that's been in the public vernacular for the last few years, and it's actually a quite helpful word. I find that these kinds of qualities are uh, that's interesting to create a character uh, who is like yourself but more extreme, and because you can, it's freeing in a way. It's liberating. You can plumb the depths. You can go places with this character that you would never dare to go, and that you shouldn't go in your real life. You wouldn't want to go, but in fiction, it's you have because you're it's not you, it's a character that you've created. You have this freedom to do the sort of things that you would never do in real life. So anyway, the to me it seems that these media literacy people, it seems to me they have an agenda. It seems to me that it's not just them wanting to correct people and tell them, you know, you got it all wrong. Here's the real deal. Here's what's really going on. Because trust me, trust me, the people who watched, the many, many people who watched and enjoyed Joker, uh, they knew that uh, Arthur Fleck had a lot of problems. They knew that about him. They knew that. They knew that he was not um, like a hero, quote unquote. Uh, and and that was what was compelling about him. You know, uh, the same goes for Travis Bickle. The same goes for the narrator, the unnamed narrator of Dostoevsky's work. Notes from Underground, and many many other characters like this. And people who uh, who create Travis Bickle. I'm sorry, who create Patrick Bateman memes. Of course, they don't think that Patrick Bateman is a hero, uh, but they enjoy certain things about him. They find him funny, and they find the way that he's the way that he feels uh, liberated to say certain things that maybe other people would, that they themselves might feel tempted to say but would never say, like when the waiter interrupts them at dinner and Patrick's and offers to tell them about their specials. Atlas says, "May I tell you about our specials?" And Patrick says, "Not if you want to keep your spleen." Um, that's a shocking line, but it's a very funny line because it's like we know what it's like to be annoyed by if we're having a conversation and a waiter comes up and interrupts us. You know, they have to do it. They have to. Sometimes they have to come up and interrupt. It's nothing against waiters. It's just that's the way you feel. And so there's a certain humor that comes out of that. And I think that the way that people will respond to the literally me quote unquote characters, you know, is not a misunderstanding of them. It's not that they. It's not that somebody sees Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver, shoot a whole bunch of people down in a bloody gunfight, tried to assassinate a presidential candidate, and all the other things that he does. Take his date to a porno movie, um, and all these other things that he does. Um, Either I think the porno movie thing is just out of some kind of sense of cluelessness. The shootings are obviously him deciding to take action against a world that he's decided is irredeemable, and he's got to fight it. He's got to fight back against the evil of it. Um, you know, people respond to these characters the same way people have responded to movie villains for a long, long time. I have not seen a single Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I don't think. I saw Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the one that came out in the early '90s. Other than that, I had no interest in any of those movies. But I know that Freddy became this this cult hero, and I don't think that was because people thought, "Oh yeah, killing kids is cool." Um, I really don't think that was the reason. It was just because they liked certain things about him. They liked his wit. They liked his one-liners. In his case, I don't know whether he was really particularly worthy of that kind of adulation. But again, I haven't seen those movies, so I can't say for sure. But in any case, whether you think he's worthy of being looked at that way or not, the media literacy people seem to think or seem to just ignore. What they ignore is that how a character impacts uh, a a reader or a viewer is in many ways out of the hands of the creator, because that character takes on a life of his own, and it's not a question of how should you respond to this person. This in some ways this reminds me of the way that some people try to police comedy. The way that um, they try to say, oh, certain jokes are funny, but certain things are just not funny. That's just not funny. You're not right. You should not laugh at that. You should not laugh at this line or that line because it's offensive in this way or that way or whatever. It's you don't laugh. Laughter is an involuntary response. You you don't your guts, your larynx, the the part of you that laughs at something. You know, it's just like how when the doctor hits your knee and your leg kicks. It's simply reflexive. Uh, something is funny to you, and it might seem terrible that it's funny. It might be really dark. It might be really cruel. It might be really awful, but it's still funny. Funny is funny. Um, so the way that people react to these kinds of characters, um, to these anti-heroes, to these misfits, uh, is just it's just the way that it's it's what it's the same kind of thing. You have a certain reflexive response to characters, and some characters, for even for all that's wrong with them, you still feel an affinity with them for one reason or another, because either because you sympathize with their plight or because you enjoy uh, certain aspects of. I mean, think of your friends. Think of people that you're friends with. You know that your friends can be assholes, right? You know that. Um, but sometimes they're funny when they're being assholes. Does that make it okay? No. No, of course it doesn't make it okay, but it's still funny. Um, or it's still relatable, or it's still whatever. You know, we take we apprehend our fellow uh, human beings, and we make friends based on a complex set of uh, reasons, and it's not it's not always because we're just looking for uh, you know highly virtuous people who are always inoffensive and who are who are extremely upstanding and don't have any problems and are winners instead of losers in the game of life. You know, we don't make friends for those kinds of reasons. What draws you to a person? What draws you to someone of the opposite sex, right? Uh, it's a complex set of characteristics. Looks have something to do with it, but not everything. Um, so what it seems to me that these media literacy people are really uh, going on about, what they're really trying, and as I said, this is not a new thing. This effort to say, oh, you're wrong, to the crowd, the kind of people who idolize this character, or who cheer when this character does this or that, or who create memes about this character and say, I can relate, he's literally me. Um, you know, that this sort of thing has been going on for a while. There's been an effort to. Uh, I mean, I think part of it's just a know-it-all thing. Part of it's like a seeing through the uh, or thinking that you see things better than the herd, thinking that you are more of an intellectual than everybody else, or that you are more astute than everyone else, and just wanting to stand out by pointing out how the masses are asses, or something like that. I think that's part of it. Um, but I think in our time, with wokeness, with political correctness, with these kinds of cultural phenomena, with virtue signaling, you have this. There's been this villainization of male, uh, archetypically male characters who do archetypically male things, uh, and male characters who might be seen as a little bit edgy, a little bit dangerous, uh, who are a little rough around the edges, uh, who have not been emasculated, dare I say. There seems to be this effort to rein in the masses and to say, no, 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 bad boy, bad boy. Uh, you are so wrong for thinking that it was funny when uh, this this character did that. When you know when Arthur Fleck uh, wouldn't let the midget leave the room after he killed the guy, or whatever. Just all these things that it's like there's this punitive, holier than thou, virtue signaling, finger wagging kind of effort. Um, and it's much to be noted for its futility. I don't think anybody reads these articles and thinks to themselves, "Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. I should have. I was bad for responding to this character the way that I responded to him." I mean, or you can think that at the time. That's not going to change anything because again, you respond to the character the way you responded to him because that's how again it's a matter of a reflexive reaction to certain types of behavior. And like it or not, people, and I will say this, especially men, uh, dream of doing things that society wouldn't let them do ordinarily. And so, yes, there's a certain wish fulfillment uh, in seeing these characters do these kinds of things, say these kinds of things, um, which can exist, which almost always does exist side by side with knowing that it was wrong. Arthur Fleck was wrong to kill all those people. Um, you know, Travis Bickle was wrong to shoot those people and to take his girlfriend to a porno theater. That was embarrassing. That was cringe. Even though 1976 nobody talked about cringe. Um, I think back on when the makers of All in the Family created Archie Bunker, the character of Archie Bunker. He wasn't. He was supposed to be a bad guy, a guy that you looked down on and laughed at and saw as stupid and bigoted and wrong about everything. But he became this cult hero because again, people liked how he just said what he thought. People enjoyed that about him. You enjoy seeing a character who's got that kind of freedom who's got the freedom to just say whatever, to say how he actually feels about something. It doesn't even matter whether we agree with him or not. The fact that he would feel comfortable saying something like that is sort of that registers, especially to men, that registers as something that we can't help but like or admire in a way. And so I would suggest that the media literacy types are anti-male, or they're trying to rein in, uh, maleness, malehood, masculinity, edgy masculinity that's not afraid to take things in an uncomfortable direction. That's part of what masculinity is all about. Where men are supposed to. It's not that men are supposed to be bad. I think we're supposed to be good. Uh, we're supposed to follow God's law and not do the things that not commit crimes, not be violent. But there are times when situations call for violence, and that's when a man has to kind of step up. And of course, we all know if you don't know this, you've got your head in the sand. That over the last few decades, there's been a concerted effort there's a very concerted anti-male uh, um, effort strain within society, um, and men are pushing back. Men are pushing back. Hence the last election, right? And lots of other things too. So those are my thoughts on media literacy, quote unquote.